Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next hour. Trump urges oil giants to invest in Venezuela's vast reserves, meets energy major CEOs at White House, vows full security guarantees. Fresh protests erupt in Iran despite internet blackout. US President says monitoring situation very closely as toll rises to over 50. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a two-day Gujarat visit to participate in Swabhiman Parv and other events at Somnath Temple. And in sports, stage is all set for a thrilling finale as SG Pipers take on Shrachi Bengal Tigers in the summit clash of Women's Hockey India League today. All right, first we have updates from US President Donald Trump's meeting with top oil companies' CEOs at White House, where he urged the energy firms to invest billions of dollars into tapping the Venezuela's vast oil reserves. Donald Trump also said the oil companies would have security guarantees to operate in Venezuela while declaring Caracas open for business. Representatives from Chevron, ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips and more than a dozen other oil and gas firms were present for the meeting less than a week after the US captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Trump administration officials have said they need to control Venezuela's oil sales and revenues indefinitely to ensure the country acts in America's interest, including by reducing corruption and drug trafficking.
One thing I will tell them, and I will tell you, that we are open for business. China can buy all the oil they want from us there or in the United States. Russia can get all the oil they need from us, and they do like oil, even though they produce a lot of it. But China and Russia and everybody else is able to go, and we'll be open for business almost immediately.
Meanwhile, a joint operation was carried out by US and Venezuela to return the oil tanker Minerva to Venezuelan waters. The statement from the South American nation's oil ministry and state-run oil firm PDVSA said that the ship had taken off without payment or authorization by Venezuelan authorities. Now, US President called the capture and removal of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro from power a miracle and said South Americans are going to be happy about it.
Everyone's going to be happy in South America, everybody. What we've done is, some people would say it's a miracle, actually, what we've done. And Venezuela's happy. I think they're all going to be happy. Thank you very much, everybody.
Now, Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, announced on Friday that her government was exploring diplomatic channels with the United States to re-establish embassies in both countries following the US capture of President Nicolas Maduro.
I want to address our Foreign Minister Yovan Gill's statement where he informed the country and the international community that the Venezuelan government and the United States government are exploring channels to open embassies with what objective? To retaliate the complaint against the aggression our people suffered? Because our women, our men, our girls, our boys, we are deeply impacted by an aggression of this nature. We are going to meet face-to-face in diplomacy and will go with our Bolivarian diplomacy of peace to defend Venezuela's peace, Venezuela's stability, the future, to defend our independence, and to defend our sacred and inalienable sovereignty.
Now, the Venezuelan government statement came as US State Department officials traveled to Caracas for technical and logistical assessments regarding a potential phased resumption of embassy operations. US President Donald Trump said earlier on Friday that Venezuela's release of political prisoners was a sign of seeking peace and that he had cancelled a planned second wave of attacks. Talking to media in White House, Trump said he's planning to meet various representatives of Venezuela soon. All right, DD India's Akhilesh Suman joins us for more on this story. Good morning, Akhilesh. The US President spoke about Venezuela being open for business. Tell us, how are officials justifying this push for private investment amid continuing political uncertainty?
Actually, you can say that this is a silver lining between US and Venezuelan stalemate, because US delegation had gone to Venezuela, Caracas, and they have met, Venezuelan officials. The Rodriguez, the interim president, she has hinted that Venezuelan officials will also go to US and they will talk to US officials. So I think this is a process of talks that has begun between two countries. And you can say that this is a positive development that, diplomacy is taking the forward seat. People have started talking. And if US opens its, embassy in Venezuela, you can say that there is a formal diplomatic relations between Venezuela and the USA has been established. And I think this was waiting for a long time, because, Venezuela was in a way sidelined by US for a long time, for one reason or another, whatever be the reason. But it was the fact that many of the sanctions that US had put on Venezuela, it was difficult for Venezuela to do business with anyone. So now if Donald Trump wants to have business in Venezuela, and opening the diplomatic, mission there, I think interim president is also taking it as a positive sign, and she has said that our delegation will also visit to Washington D.C. and talk. So in a way that you can say that President Trump wants to secure his interest in Venezuela. He wants to secure his strategic interest around, USA and in South America. And you have heard the statement yourself that, he is telling that if China and US want to get oil, they should get oil from us. He also made, Donald Trump also made, oil companies leaders in Washington, D.C. And many of the oil companies are reluctant to go to Venezuela in this point of time. They say that it will need lots of reform. And Donald Trump said that, you are talking to USA now, not talking to Venezuela. So you are, in a way that guarantee is being given by US government to US companies that you go and I will give you guarantee, security guarantee, and whatever guarantees are needed. So I think that for Venezuelans, it is a great relief that yes, there is no more bloodshed, there is no more military attack, talks are going on. So people may be at ease. And in the long run, whatever be the case against President Maduro, earlier President Maduro, I think the court will decide. And once diplomatic relations are established between the two countries and they have some business communications and if business re-establishes between US and Venezuela, I think it will be also a relief for the people who like Maduro, and there may be some settlement, there may be some agreement on that also, because you have seen that Venezuelans have started releasing political prisoners who were in jail in Maduro's time. So I think this is also giving, some sort of relaxation to the people in Venezuela who are sitting in the opposition side, who are opposing the government. So this is a process we have to watch and see that how this complicated process takes shape, because it's very complicated. Yeah. Once you pick up a president and his wife, and then you start reforming and you start establishing the relations with the country, and it's really very complicated. But I think Venezuelans are doing it very well. They are playing it very well so that they can secure the country, and also they can secure their leader who has been picked up by US forces.
Akhilesh, also the US president, we just heard him, he has described recent developments in Venezuela as a miracle. How has this statement been received in the region also, and also diplomatically and internationally?
You can say that miracle is not generally a word used in strategic terms or diplomatic terms, but in a way that it's you can say that it's a quite swift operation. But you can understand the type of intelligence US must have gathered to pick up the sitting president of Venezuela. It's a really you could say that exemplary operation without much disturbance in the country, overnight operation. Some soldiers must have been killed. Exact numbers are not coming, but not much conflict like we have seen in Saddam Hussein time. It was a long war and Saddam Hussein was arrested. So this was a very swift operation, and in that way you can say that Maduro is surviving. That is a big relief for Maduro supporters in Venezuela and all over the world. So it's like you can say that it's a very good intelligence operation and a very good military operation in Venezuela without much hassle and without much bloodshed inside the country.
Akhilesh, also before we leave you, with US officials traveling to Caracas for technical assessments, how close are both sides to reopening embassies, and what hurdles you think still remain?
You know that one delegation was already in Caracas and another delegation is going for technical things. So I think it's not too troublesome, you know, that if a country is willing to host the embassy, if the country is going to reopen the embassy, it's not a big deal. I think there are issues of protocol, security, and how the area will be sanitized so that inimical forces inside Venezuela does not attack the embassy again. So it's not too difficult. I have seen the embassies opening and closing. So it will be a very good thing for Venezuelan people and even American people who are trying to find out a settled agreement between the two nations. They want that dialogue and diplomacy will be given primacy now. Once what has happened has happened. But now there is a need to go peacefully, work peacefully, and do business in whatever manner you want to do with agreement between US and Venezuelan existing government.
All right, Akhilesh, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. Moving on, a demonstration was held in Panama City's Avenue of the Martyrs to reject security policies signed with the United States, coinciding with the commemoration of the January 9th of 1964 uprising. Union Group warned that US intervention in Venezuela and the arrest of its sitting president served as an international alarm that could happen in Panama, noting that recovering exclusive use of the Panama Canal had been declared a US interest. The January 9th date commemorates the 1964 flag riots when Panamanian students were killed during protests demanding sovereignty over the Panama Canal zone, which remained under US control until the canal's transfer to Panama in 1999. Now, the US Drug Enforcement Administration returned to Bolivia after being expelled nearly 2 decades ago, marking a significant shift in the country's anti-narcotics policy. Deputy Minister of Social Defense Ernesto Justiniano confirmed that Bolivia was working with American cooperation. He hoped to reach an agreement for long-term presence to achieve greater impact in fighting drug trafficking. The DEA is now coordinating with Bolivian law enforcement, including the Special Force, to fight drug trafficking, with 9 international agencies currently cooperating on drug enforcement. The DEA's return comes 17 years after it was expelled in 2009 under then-President Evo Morales, who accused the agency of political interference. Moving on to the issue of Greenland, US President Donald Trump reiterated that the US needs to own Greenland to prevent Russia or China from occupying it in the future. These repeated statements have deepened the divide between Trump and European leaders.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. I would like to make a deal, you know, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
All right, still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Tensions around the Ukraine conflict intensify as Russia carries out a missile strike near the European Union border. India takes an important step to strengthen support for its women citizens living abroad. And we'll get you weather updates from across the globe. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Updates from West Asia now. Fresh protests erupted in Iran despite nationwide blackout. Iranians took to the streets in new protests on Friday to press the biggest movement against the government in more than 3 years. In Tehran's Sadatabad district, people banged pots and chanted anti-government slogans. The internet blackout has sharply reduced the amount of information flowing out of Iran, and phone calls to the country were not getting through. At least 17 flights between Dubai and Iran were cancelled. These protests followed joint demonstrations on Thursday that were the biggest in Iran since 2022-23 protest movement. Meanwhile, in his first comments on the escalating protests since January 3rd, country's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Friday called the demonstrators vandals and saboteurs. Khamenei, in a speech broadcast on state TV, vowed not to back down, accusing demonstrators of acting on behalf of opposition groups abroad and the United States. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps also issued a statement on Friday saying it would not tolerate the continuation of the current situation in the country. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump issued a fresh warning to Iran's leaders on Friday, talking to media at the White House. Trump said the situation in Iran is being monitored very closely and hoped for the protesters in the country to be safe. He warned that if protesters were killed, the US would get involved and would hit the country where it hurts.
We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts.
Now, the world leaders on Saturday condemned the killing and arrest of protesters in Iran. In a joint statement, the foreign ministers of Australia, Canada and the European Union lauded the bravery displayed by the citizens of Iran and condemned the reported crackdown by the regime. The nations called on Iranian government to end the use of aggressive force against the protesters and preserve their right to freedom of expression. Leaders of France, Britain and Germany also issued a joint statement on Friday condemning the killing of protesters and urged the Iranian authorities to restrain from violence. Expressing concern on the situation in Iran, UN spokesperson Stephen Dujarric said the United Nations was very disturbed by the loss of life in Iran protest.
We're continuing to follow the situation extremely closely, very disturbed by the loss of life that we've seen. As in my answer to Deji, people anywhere in the world have a right to demonstrate peacefully, and governments have a responsibility to protect that right and to ensure that that right is respected.
Tensions around the Ukraine conflict intensified further as the United Nations Security Council called an emergency meeting after fresh Russian strikes hit Kiev, causing heating outages during winter. The UN Security Council will meet on Monday to discuss the situation in Ukraine after Russia launched strikes on the capital Kiev, causing heating outages in the middle of winter, according to the body's revised schedule published late Friday. In an evening address on Friday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia fired a medium-range hypersonic Oreshnik missile late on January 8 at a target in Ukraine's Lviv region close to the border with NATO member Poland. He said the strike was demonstratively close to the European Union and warned it could pose risks to countries including Poland, Romania and Hungary. Meanwhile, Britain said it would allocate $270 million to prepare for a possible deployment of troops to Ukraine in the event of a ceasefire. The move follows a declaration of intent agreed by British Prime Minister, French President and Ukrainian President at a meeting of Ukraine's allies. Britain's Defence Minister said the funds would support vehicle upgrades, communications, counter-drone protection and troop readiness. In Minneapolis, protesters gathered near a federal building as tensions rose over the fatal shooting of a 37-year-old woman by an ICE agent earlier this week. Protesters held a noisy demonstration outside hotels, housing ICE agents, chanting slogans, holding signs and making noise with pans and instruments. Minnesota officials said they are launching their own criminal investigation after the FBI took exclusive control of the case and blocked the State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension from accessing scene evidence, witness interviews and other material. The White House reposted a cell phone video from the ICE officer involved in the shooting. Tensions between state officials and Trump's administration are likely to flare up. State leaders have criticized the move as a refusal to cooperate and an attempt to shut out local authorities from the inquiry, while Trump vowed to protect ICE and other law enforcement officers as tensions rose over the incident.
She was so loud and so crazy and just not normal. When somebody sees something like that, they don't go screaming and the same words. So, I guess you could say professional, but I didn't think she did a very good job. You have agitators, and we will always be protecting ICE, and we're always going to be protecting our Border Patrol and our law enforcement.
Australian authorities declared a state of disaster after bushfires destroyed houses and raised vast belts of forest in the country's southeast. Temperatures soared past 40 degrees Celsius as a heat wave blanketed the state of Victoria this week, with hot winds fanning some of the most dangerous fire weather since the Black Summer bushfires of 2019-20. One of the most destructive bushfires ripped through almost 150,000 hectares near Longwood. State Premier Jacinta Allen on Saturday declared a state of disaster, giving fire crews emergency powers to force evacuations. Hundreds of firefighters from across Australia have been called in to help. Now, NASA crew members aboard the International Space Station could return to Earth as soon as Wednesday. NASA, in a post on social media, said the space agency and SpaceX are targeting to undock the agency's SpaceX Crew 11 mission from the International Space Station on Wednesday evening, depending on weather conditions. NASA astronauts Zena Cardman and Mike Finke, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Kimiya Yui, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Oleg Platonov will splash down off the coast of California on Thursday, which is January 15th. NASA on Thursday announced its decision to return the agency's SpaceX Crew 11 mission to Earth from the space station earlier than originally planned, as teams monitor a medical concern with a crew member currently living and working aboard the orbital laboratory who is stable. All right, global weather updates now. First up from Europe. Storm Gorete battered parts of the United Kingdom on Friday, causing damage along the southern English coast as strong winds and severe weather led to widespread disruption. In Folkestone, powerful winds raked coastal structures and beached huts. The Met Office said the storm hit hardest across the southwest, Wales, the Midlands and parts of northern England. The impact was felt across Europe as well, with thousands of homes losing power, flights grounded and train services disrupted due to gale-force winds and heavy snowfall. And a winter storm sweeping across northern Europe disrupted travel in parts of Germany, affecting road, rail and air movement with icy conditions, causing delays and cancellations. In Hamburg, a stalled truck at the port triggered major traffic jams, while at Berlin's airport, aircraft had to be de-iced before takeoff. Airport authorities said the vast tarmac area was cleared of ice and snow before early morning flights could depart Rail services were also hit with train cancellations from Berlin to a number of destinations due to adverse weather forecast. And severe winter weather conditions continue to affect several parts of the country, with dense fog and cold wave disrupting normal life. Cold wave conditions tightened their grip on the national capital, with people taking shelter at night shelters to escape the biting cold. The intense cold and cold wave conditions continue to worsen across western Indian state of Rajasthan. Light rain and very dense fog over the past 24 hours have made the weather even more severe. People have been advised to remain cautious due to reduced visibility and falling temperatures. The weather is likely to remain dry in the state for the next 1 week. Himachal Pradesh also continues to reel under an intense cold wave like deep freeze conditions, with large parts of the state recording minimum temperatures well below the seasonal average, prompting fresh travel advisories in high altitude regions. The sharp fall in mercury has intensified winter conditions, particularly in the tribal belt of Lahaul and Spiti, where extreme cold has led to the formation of black ice on roads and mountain passes. Kukum Seri emerged as the coldest place in the state, recording a biting minimum of -10.6 degrees Celsius, followed closely by Tabo at -8.4 degrees. Even stations in lower and mid-hill districts hovered dangerously close to the freezing point. Cities and towns including Shimla, Kufri, Mandi and Kangra experienced near zero night temperatures, adding to the chill felt by residents and visitors alike. Cold wave conditions are expected to persist over the next few days. And severe cold during Chilai Kalan has tightened its grip on South Kashmir, leaving residents of Shopian battling an acute water crisis. Sub-zero temperatures amid the ongoing 40-day Chilai Kalan have frozen water pipelines across Shopian district, severely disrupting water supply. Residents are using temporary methods such as pouring boiling water on pipes or burning hay to restore flow, while many are forced to travel long distances to fetch water. Locals have appealed to the authorities for urgent intervention to restore supply and provide relief during the harsh winter conditions. Meanwhile, an orange alert was issued for heavy to very heavy rainfall for Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. All right, let's go across to Jaipur. DD India Lakshay Arya joins us for the latest. Lakshay Arya, the intense cold and cold wave conditions continue to worsen across western Indian state of Rajasthan. Tell us, how severe are the cold wave conditions currently and what's the forecast?
Absolutely, Abhishek. The cold waves from the northern hill states are reaching Rajasthan, and Rajasthan is receiving not only the cold waves, but from last few days, the Rajasthan is receiving the cold day. So major districts are experiencing temperature below 10 degrees Celsius. Today morning, the Fatehpur was recorded as with a 3.9 degrees Celsius, the lowest in the whole state. While more than 10 districts are receiving cold wave and a cold day received. Parallelly, major districts are not only receiving the low temperature, but also the people are seen to be highly affected with these cold waves. Whether it's about Shekhawati, whether it's of Mewar or Marwar region, the major districts and major cities of Rajasthan are not going to get any relief in coming 1 week. As per the meteorological department, as per the IMD, in coming 1 week, the Rajasthan will receive the dry temperature and the climate will remain dry. Parallelly, more of the districts of Rajasthan, including Jaipur, the temperature is soaring. The people are highly infected by the fog and high cold wave.
Also, Lakshay, also tell us about the areas. What areas have been most affected by dense fog and low visibility there?
As per IMG, in last 24 hours, major regions of the Shekhawati, including the Fatehpur Sikri, Sikar, Churu, Jhunjhunu, Jaipur, and some of the regions of the Hadoti as well, including the Kota, Bundi, some of the regions of Mewat, including the Bikaner, Jodhpur, are receiving cold wave. And in coming days, the intense cold wave condition will prevail in the Rajasthan as well, because as per the IMD, there is no relaxation in coming days. The temperature is soaring, and the cold wave from the northern hilly states are reaching Rajasthan now. Also, what's important right now is in past 48 hours, the light rain has been experienced in some of the districts of Rajasthan, due to which the intensity of the fog and the cold and the soaring temperature raise in some of the districts and the rural districts of Rajasthan.
Yes, intense cold wave conditions prevail in Rajasthan. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs, Lakshya. Time now for a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. On the last day of France's visit, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar meets India-France Parliamentary Friendship Group. Budget session from January 28th, Union Budget on February 1st. And India's space agency ISRO is set to carry a student-built CubeSat aboard its rocket on January 12th.
Near the heart of India, a land filled with surprises. In your lush forests, and the mighty force of your waters. You hold the deepest secrets that take us back in time. When it's said that the gods walk this land, this is where you carve a sense of oneness. And in you, we hear the echoes of peace. This is where we feel the warmth of your faces. Sway to your vibrant rhythms. See hands that mold life. Hands that weave joy. Burnished with the fire of beauty. You captivate with your unique flavors. That make us come back for more. In you, we flourish. While embracing change, you grow and build bridges that leap into the future.
I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Somnath in West Indian city of Gujarat on a two-day visit on Saturday to participate in Somnath Swabhiman Parv. During his visit, the Prime Minister on Saturday will participate in Omkar mantra chanting, and thereafter he will view drone show at Somnath Temple. PM Modi on Sunday will participate in Shaurya Yatra, a ceremonial procession organized to honor the countless warriors who laid down their lives defending the Somnath Temple. The Shaurya Yatra will feature a symbolic procession of 108 horses reflecting valor and sacrifice. He will later perform darshan and puja at the Somnath Temple. PM Modi will also participate and address a public function in Somnath. The Somnath Swabhiman Parv, being held from 8th to 11th January, is organized at Somnath. It is being held to remember the countless citizens of India who sacrificed to defend the temple, continues to inspire the cultural consciousness of future generations. The program marks 1000 years since Mahmud of Ghazni's invasion of the Somnath temple in the year 1026. The celebrations will witness the participation of hundreds of saints from across the country, along with 72 hours of continuous chanting of Om within the temple premises. Prime Minister's participation in the Somnath Swabhiman Parv underscores the enduring spirit of India's civilization and reaffirms his commitment to preserve and celebrate India's rich cultural and spiritual heritage. All right, let's go across to Somnath now. DD India's Siddharth Bhardwaj joins us from there. Good morning, Siddharth. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Gujarat today, and the visit coincides with the Somnath Swabhiman Parv. Tell us what are the highlights, key highlights and significance of this event.
First of all, a very good morning to you from the holy land of Somnath, Abhishek. And before beginning, let me just show you how this beautiful temple looks like, to our viewers. Let me just request my camera person to actually zoom and show the DD India viewers that how this beautiful temple looks like today, as devotees from all across the globe, not just from the country, Abhishek, but from all across the globe are here to actually experience the grandeur of this temple, which stands tall and rock solid despite several invasions over the year. This is a very significant year, Abhishek, as you know, and you also told our viewers, because 2026 is a significant year for Somnath temple, because it's been 1000 years since the first attack happened on the Somnath temple in 1026 by Mahmud Ghaznavi, and after that several invasions also happened, and many foreign invaders tried to attack this temple, but the zeal, grit and resilience of the people, the children of Bharat Mata, made sure that this temple is rebuilt, this temple is rejuvenated, and this temple is reconstructed. And such is the grandeur of Somnath temple. You can see behind me, this beautiful temple stands tall, and like I just mentioned, stands rock solid, and people from all across the globe are here. You also told our viewers, Abhishek, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be here in Gujarat. Definitely yes, on 10th and 11th Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be here at Somnath, and he will be participating in various events, one of which is the Omkar chanting. And if you can hear the voice behind me, Abhishek, again I would like to request my camera person to actually show you where the live Omkar chanting is happening. It's that area, Abhishek. If you can just see, if you can just show to a DD India viewers, that's the area where the live chanting, Omkar chanting, is taking place, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be participating in the Omkar chanting. Apart from that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also witness the drone show at the Somnath temple. This chanting is happening at the premises of the Somnath temple, where I am right now. And this Omkar chanting has certainly filled the atmosphere with divinity. Everyone who's coming here, they're saying that they just want to go home. They don't want to go home, in fact, and they're feeling like, and they're saying to us that it feels like it's heaven here at Somnath. Somnath has never been this beautiful. Such is the aura. Also, Abhishek, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be performing puja tomorrow, which is on 11, and will participate in the Shaurya Yatra. Also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be addressing a public gathering as well. So this is what the itinerary of Prime Minister Narendra Modi look like. Now, Abhishek, they're coming onto the Somnath temple, and it's incredible history. I just told you that it's been 1000 years. This is a very significant year, and also 75 years when this temple was opened to the devotees in the year 1951. Apart from that, this is coming at a time when the nation is moving towards the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, the year when India will be celebrating the centenary of independence, and we are expected to make everything under the sun. And today, the global world at India for collaborations, for trade, and you name the sector, and India is there. So such is the way India is now shining on the global map, Abhishek, and people here are coming from all walks of life, and in fact people who are coming from the foreign countries are actually heaping, lavishing praise on the temple, and people here are also hailing the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi because, they are saying under his leadership they have witnessed such developmental work here in and around the area of Somnath temple. So they're really, really happy. They're saying when they'll go to their respective states, respective countries, they'll tell the people to come here. Somnath temple is first among the 12 Jyotirlings, as we all know, and people from all across the globe, every part of the country, every part of the world, in fact, come here to witness the grandeur and, seek the blessings of Lord Shiva. So such is the atmosphere. It's filled with divinity. There's a divine atmosphere here at the Somnath temple, and everyone is just saying Om Namah Shivaya, and they are also hailing the eternal legacy of the Sanatan Dharma.
Yes,
Abhishek.
Siddharth, you have shown us the beautiful visuals, and we can also hear the sound of Omkar mantra, and it seems a bright sunny day there too. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your input, Siddharth. Gujarat's Rajkot is gearing up to host a grand, vibrant Gujarat exhibition highlighting the industrial and export potential of Saurashtra and Kutch. The Vibrant Gujarat Regional Conference exhibition will be held in Rajkot from January 11th to 15th and will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Spread over nearly 26,000 square meters, the exhibition will feature more than 400 exhibitors from sectors including agro-food processing, energy, engineering, defense, petrochemicals and logistics. Over 110 international buyers from 16 countries are expected to participate, with the event aimed at boosting exports from Saurashtra and Kutch. Prime Minister Modi will meet the Federal Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, on the 12th of January in Western Indian city of Ahmedabad. The German Chancellor will be on an official visit to India on 12th to 13th January at the invitation of Prime Minister Modi. This will be Chancellor Merz's first official visit to India. The two leaders will visit the Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad. Later, they will participate in the International Kite Festival at the Sabarmati riverfront. This will be followed by bilateral engagements at Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar on the same day. The two leaders will review the progress made in India-Germany strategic partnership, which has recently completed 25 years. The discussion will also focus on further intensifying cooperation in trade and investment, technology, education, skilling and mobility, while also advancing collaboration in important domains of defense and security, science, innovation and research, green and sustainable development and people-to-people ties. Prime Minister Modi and Chancellor Merz will also exchange views on issues of regional and global importance and engage with business and industry leaders of the two countries. On the last day of France visit, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar met with India-France Parliamentary Friendship Group, reflecting the growing depth and maturity of India-France partnership. During the interaction, the minister expressed India's sincere gratitude for France's strong and consistent support to India in its fight against terrorism and specifically thanked French leaders and lawmakers for standing with India during Operation Sindoor. The discussions focused on further strengthening bilateral ties with emphasis on defense and security cooperation, strategic coordination and enhanced parliamentary engagement. Both sides also exchanged views on expanding cooperation in trade and investment, clean energy, climate action, technology and innovation, while reaffirming a shared commitment to a rules-based international order, strategic autonomy and stability in Indo-Pacific region. Later, the External Affairs Minister met the Director General of UNESCO, highlighting India's expanding engagement with the organization. He visited to the Wall of Peace at UNESCO headquarters. The visit underscored India's commitment to the values of peace, equality, justice and multilateralism. The interaction also reflected India's increasing role and active participation in UNESCO, particularly in the areas of education, culture, heritage conservation and sustainable development. Shifting focus now, the budget session of Indian Parliament will commence from 28th of January and will continue till 2nd April 2026. In a social media post, India's Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju announced that President Draupadi Murmu has approved summoning the Parliament for the budget session, which as per the norm will be held in two phases. The first phase of the budget session will conclude on 13th of February, after which Parliament will adjourn for a recess. The second phase will begin on March 9 and continue till April 2nd. India's space agency ISRO is set to carry a student-built CubeSat aboard its rocket on January 12th. The mini-satellite was developed by a team of school students from southern India. The CubeSat, a small standardized satellite used for space research, was built by students aged 12 to 15 from a Hyderabad school. Developed in collaboration with a local space startup, the project focuses on early exposure to space science and hands-on real-world learning. The mission highlights India's efforts to encourage innovation and practical space education at the school level.
Our children have been working on this project along with this company called Take Me to Space for more than 2.5 years now. And the satellite is ready, it got tested, it's right now in Sriharikota, and we will all be witnessing this launch from the gallery of Sriharikota.
The project allows students to study real satellite data instead of relying only on textbooks.
How this helps is, it sort of enables the student to have a real life experience of the data. Instead of just reading it in their textbooks, now they can go online, access our data, and literally see the magnetic field, the accesses, the humidity, heat, temperature, etc. Now this really helps the students sort of expand their understanding of the concept, and we hope to inspire other adolescents also to sort of get into aerospace.
And India has taken an important step to strengthen support for its women citizens living abroad. The Consulate General of India in Toronto has launched a one-stop center for women aimed at helping Indian passport-holding women facing distress in Canada. The center offers counselling, legal guidance and emergency support under one roof. Tarun Paul Singh reports from Toronto.
Consul General of India in Toronto has taken an initiative, one-stop help for women in regarding to the domestic violence or any problem faced by them. Let's talk with some community people and Consul General of India to know more about it. Launched on December 26, 2025, this center is designed to help women facing domestic violence, abuse, family conflict or legal challenges. Acting from the Consul General's office, the facility offers immediate counseling, psychosocial support and coordinates legal assistance while helping women assess community and social service resources in Canada. Crucially, all interventions comply with local Canadian laws. The service isn't limited to permanent residents, visitors, workers and students can also seek help. Within days of opening, more than a dozen women approached the center, highlighting the needs of trusted, culturally aware sporting system.
This is such an excellent initiative Consul General of India has taken, and we recently came to know, and then there are so many families who are actually struggling and they sometimes don't know, they're very shy or very hesitant to reach somebody, they don't know what to do, where to get help, and this initiative will give them like this kind of home that they can go call some, it will feel like a family, that somebody there to hear and somebody they can reach there, because sometimes there are women, due to the cultural boundaries, they do not open up to their problems and they keep it to themselves and then they keep like suffering. And now this way, at least they'll have kind of one family support, that they'll be able to reach there, and that will be really, really, I would say, excellent initiation.
According to the Consul General, the women in Canada need legal, financial and other forms of help in many cases, including domestic violence, dowry, exploitation and many more. This center will provide them the facilities and act as a bridge between Canadian and Indian authorities.
This is an initiative by the Government of India to help our Indian women. This is for Indian nationals only and not for those Indo-Canadians who are not Indian nationals anymore, to help them in distress situations. It could be for anything. If they're in Canada, it could be marital dispute, domestic violence, medical aid or any other concern that they have. So this is an exclusive center for women only, and it is run by a woman center administrator and support staff. This is working very well. There are two ways to connect to the center. One is through an email, and one is through a direct mobile number. Both details are available on our website through a press release as well as on our social media handles.
Community response has largely been positive. Online readers welcome the initiative, noting that many Indian women struggle to discuss sensitive issues due to cultural barriers. Some urge that staff be well trained and that center act swiftly, while others emphasize the importance of transparency and real solutions.
I'm so happy to be knowing that the Consulate General has started a one-stop center for women in distress to support the domestic violence, abuse, legal issues, policies, and this is an amazing initiative by the Consulate General of India, Toronto.
I just had a talk with the Consul General and Mr. KP Singh as well, and they have announced that they have a one-stop center for women in distress, and they will be expanding the session. More women are being invited to join, and it's a non-profit organization. With these initiatives in hand and the Indo-Canada relationships becoming better, I see a bright future. It's huge.
Without taking names, I can give you examples where we have helped people. Women in cases where they have been abandoned by their husbands, they have no place to go, they have no place to stay, and they are new to Canada, or even if they are in Canada, they don't know how to approach the Canadian institutions, so they are helpless. In one of the cases, we not only helped the woman, counseled her, but also connected her through an NGO and a lawyer, and we provided a legal aid as well. So such cases we keep doing, but now with the center coming up, this is going to be more proactive, and I'm very happy to share with you that even the span of last 15 to 20 days, the number of cases we are handling every day it goes to show that there is a need for having such kind of interventions.
By consolidating counseling, legal guidance and emergency support under one roof, the One Stop Center aims to break the silence around abuse and exploitation. Officials say that the model could be replicated in other countries with large Indian communities. From Canada, this is Tarun Paul Singh.
All right, sports updates now. We'll start with hockey. The stage is set for a thrilling finale as SG Pipers take on Ranchi Bengal Tigers in the Women's Hockey India League final in Ranchi on Saturday. SG Pipers, who finished at the bottom of the points table in the previous edition, turned their fortunes around in grand fashion. After 2 weeks of high-octane action, SG Pipers, led by captain Navneet Kaur, tops the table with 11 points and boast one of the best defences. Ranchi Bengal Tigers, guided by Vandana Kataria, rely heavily on Augustina Gorzandlani, who has netted 5 of their 7 goals. Bengal Tigers sealed the second spot with 2 wins in regular time and 2 wins in shootouts, registering 10 points and edging out Ranchi Royals, who finished third with 9 points. With both sides evenly matched, fans can expect a gripping contest to decide the crown. From hockey to badminton, ace Indian shuttler PV Sindhu's impressive run came to an end after a straight game defeat to China's Wang Zhiye in the semi-finals of the season opening Malaysia Open on Saturday. The two-time Olympic medalist could not sustain the pressure against the world number 2, committing too many unforced errors in a 16-21, 15-21 loss. Playing her first tournament after recovering from a foot injury since October last year, Sindhu let slip an 11-6 lead in the second game. Sindhu tried to reset, but the momentum had shifted decisively and Wang took full advantage of it to seal her place in the finals. The loss also has brought down curtains on India's campaign in the tournament. Indian chess prodigy Nihal Sarin clinched the rapid title at the Rapid and Blitz chess tournament in Kolkata. He finished on 6.5 points, half a point ahead of legendary Vishwanathan Anand, while Arjun Erigaisi took the third spot. Nihal Sarin dismantled Wesley Esso's defences to gain a winning position in just 13 moves with black pieces. With the title on the line, he played out a solid draw against Vishwanathan Anand to reign supreme. Nihal dedicated the title to his grandfather, who passed away on Thursday, and said it was he who had introduced him to chess and been a great support. Now, Sikh winds dazzled and the spirit of the king reverberated through the streets as hundreds converged in parks to celebrate Elvis Presley. Festival goers embraced the 2026 Love Me Tender theme, stepping out in a spectacular array of rhinestone jumpsuits and heart-themed outfits. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.